Hello and welcome to another episode of the Thoughtfully Made Fiber Podcast. My name is Amy Sher. Today we are going to talk all about summer knitting. Now, it has been an entire year since we last talked about warm weather knitting and also since I made a podcast. So I am sorry for that. Today we have in the room with us my friend Lauren, who is at A Bee in the Bonnet Everywhere. She has recently started her own YouTube channel to talk about all things designing and all things knitting. We're so excited to talk together and make our own first podcast together. Lauren is a wonderful designer who makes wonderful sock and shawl and neckwear and hat patterns. And I've been a fan and a customer since way before I started designing myself. So it's really nice to get to talk together. And we plan to just gab and have a good time and talk about all things warm weather knitting. Lauren designs a lot of beautiful lace work. So I think it's only appropriate to bring her on to talk about warm weather knitting. It is a little strange to talk about warm weather knitting because I'm currently staring down a polar vortex with like 12 inches of snow about to be dumped on me. But in the calendar, we are technically into warm weather releases as designers, which is a weird thing that we designers have to think about. I don't know about you, Lauren, but are you also like deep into summer releases?
Yeah, I mean, my design calendar is a little different because I'm always doing small accessories, and so I don't have to think about, am I releasing a bulky weight sweater in January or June? But I do often shift to warmer weight or warmer weather yarns for summer designs for sure.
So the first thing I wanted to ask you is, do you feel that there's a difference in yarn selection when you're knitting things like accessories, or do you think the lace work is more forgiving towards fiber content for warm weather?
Yeah, I definitely think there's still a difference. The biggest difference is the thickness of the yarn that I would use for something I'm planning to wear in warmer weather. I think most fibers can be pretty comfortable to wear in warmer weather if the yarn is fine enough. Some of them will breathe better than others, some will wick sweat better than others. But a bulky weight yarn is probably not going to be comfortable in July, no matter what you're knitting, what fiber is in it. So I'm not going to be releasing like a worsted weight shawl that uses 5 skeins of yarn for a summer pattern. I definitely would stick to a fingering weight yarn, regardless of what the fiber content is. Do you kind of think about similar things with the garments that you're releasing too?
Yeah, I have to. I once released a summer pattern in like September, and I think it was just too late. People were already kind of thinking about the next thing. So I think as a designer, we do kind of think about things in that way. Funnily enough, kind of the bread and butter of my knitting design business is in summer garments. I sell the most of summer garments. Like my best-selling pattern is the coloring book raglan, which is not a summer pattern, but the bulk of my sales comes from like the collection of summer patterns. So that's kind of the sweet spot for me. I think maybe because I come from that same area as you, I grew up in Southern California. So there wasn't really a lot of opportunity to knit like Aran weight sweaters.
Even in June, I will have a shawl in my bag, especially because buildings are also over air conditioned, and so I like to have an extra layer here and there. I get cold easy, and then I get hot easy.
So my other question for you on this is, so I don't think it's fair for me to talk like yap on and on about fiber content because I am a designer and also I sell yarn. Like I design garments and I sell yarn. So I have, like a vested monetary interest in selling certain yarns, but you don't design garments. So that means I get to kind of pick your
Correct.
brain on like when you knit a garment for warm weather, what are you looking for?
So some of it is kind of personal sensory preference, and some of it
Mhm,
is functionality of the garment. For me,
mhm.
I really don't like the feeling of fabric brushing against my skin a lot. And so I tend not to go for really loose or oversized garments. But at the same time, in the summertime, you want something that's going to breathe comfortably. So you don't want it to be, super tight against your body either. So I like something like this, which I promise was not a planned advertisement, but it is your weekday tee in a silk yarn that I bought from your yarn shop. So, not a gift from Amy. I bought the pattern, I bought the yarn, but I do really like a lightweight silk. I think that that is really nice for hot garments. I like short sleeves, of course.
Lauren, can I ask, do your hands hurt when you knit with summer fibers?
Oof, that's a good question. I have found that they hurt sometimes and in different ways. So one issue that a lot of knitters notice is that summer fibers like linen and silk and cotton. I guess we should, before we dig into summer fibers, we should talk about what
Oh
we
yeah,
mean
we
when we
should
say
probably
summer
define them.
fibers.
Yeah.
So usually when I say summer fibers, I mean plant-based yarns and yarns that behave like plant-based yarns. So even though silk is not a plant yarn, I lump it with the plant yarns because it behaves a lot
Yeah.
like linen and cotton. Um,
Yeah.
some
I
people
hear it referred
also,
to as cellulose fibers.
yeah, exactly. There are a couple things with these summer fibers that I notice and that I've heard from other knitters a lot too, which is that the lack of stretch in summer fibers can cause cramping or soreness in some people's hands. And that's especially true, I think, if you are used to knitting with relatively stretchy wool fibers. And you're a tight knitter. So if you're a tight knitter, you're used to, yanking your stitches kind of tight. You're used to having to shove your needle into your stitches a little bit, and you're used to there being a good bit of give there. If you continue knitting that tightly with a linen or a cotton or a silk, you're not going to have that bit of give there. And so you're going to have to push harder to get your needles into the stitches and to move them along the needles. And so that can be a challenge for people. The other challenge that I face is that because they have less give in the way the yarn is spun as well, I find that I'm a tight knitter. I get grooves in my fingertips from gripping my yarn too tight. And then eventually my fingertips will start tingling. Mm-hmm.
That's terrifying.
Really
I don't
tight
like that.
knitter.
So, with that in mind, do you personally change the way you knit or kind of the tools you knit with when you work with summer fibers?
Yeah, I do both. I work on making sure that I loosen my grip a little bit so that I'm not strangling my needles. And that does require some really conscious effort because that
Yeah.
is my preferred method of knitting is to just like have a chokehold on my needles and my stitches. I don't tend to change needle material. I'm a diehard metal needle user. And I find that if I just loosen my grip a little bit, that seems to be okay. But sometimes I will use larger needles than the pattern calls for so that I'll still hit gauge that way because again, tight knitter, but
Yeah.
I have a little more space within each stitch to work.
I personally have the opposite problem where I don't really grip the stitches, but they fall off my needle more easily when they're
Mm,
not wool based. And I end up having to use those square needles. I think Carbons makes one, and then I have the ones by Addi. The square needle kind of grips, has more friction on the stitch, so it doesn't fall off as easily. And then I'm not tightly gripping it. So that's another, and that's only really applicable if it's like 100% cellulose fiber. If there's even like 40 to 50% of some kind of wool fiber, I'm good. But alpaca does not do the same thing because it has that big drape and slope to it. That's not quite the same as wool. So that's kind of the kind of modifications I have to make when I'm knitting with summer fibers.
yeah. Do you ever sub summer fibers in a garment originally designed for a wool or primarily wool based yarn?
So that's a question that comes up a lot because in many of my garment designs, I do get it worked up in at least a second sample, especially for the summer ones where I'm knitting it in a wool blend. But I know somebody in California is going to be like 50% wool. That's insane for California. But yeah, that's something I actually worried a lot about at first. Like I thought that, for example, 100% cotton or 100% linen would require more oversized ease because it doesn't have as much stretch. But actually, I find that that's not the case. Like, if anything, they need less ease than a garment I design in wool because they have no recovery. So once they
Mm-hmm.
start to drape, it actually creates a lot of drape ease, which is separate from like measurements on a flat board ease. Like wool will kind of hang on it in places where it needs to hang on and not stretch out, but the weight of the garment itself kind of drags the whole thing down and then kind of compensates for the ease. So I actually don't find that I've had much trouble. The only places where it could be a problem is like edgings. I find that every people, at least I do, people who are used to knitting in wool, such as myself, we often have a different tension when we're binding off or when we're doing an I-cord finish or when we're doing ribbing. And then that can create a lot of like, it doesn't go over my head kind of issues, even though the math kind of works and it should stretch to go over your head. It has enough stretch to go over your head, but not if you worked an I cord really tight at the bite off edge. So those are kind of the only places where I feel like it kind of matters. I actually kind of prefer summer fibers when it comes to cellulose fibers. And a big part of that is because it doesn't do that thing wool does where ribbing hugs my arm.
Mm.
If that makes sense. Like
Yeah,
there's a little bit
it's just a nice
more.
little decorative edging as opposed to
Yeah. And I know you don't like the flapping, but I like it when it's a little bit, there's a little bit of airflow happening.
Mhm.
So yeah, it functions more like a store-bought jersey, like a cotton jersey tee.
Yeah, I just wear this one like a regular t-shirt. So you mentioned earlier that you like blends with cellulose fibers partly because it helps counteract that stiffness issue. Um what do you notice when you use those in your design process?
So I really like the blends as because as you say, it eliminates a lot of the pain issues that I have. And when I design, I also have to kind of keep in mind that a lot of customers don't have easy access to 100% cellulose fibers. And I do get a lot of people who substitute for these fibers using superwash yarn, which is really interesting because normally I'm not a fan of superwash yarn for garments
Mhm.
because it drapes open and grows and all of the things. But if I designed it in a cellulose fiber to begin with, then I feel like we're kind of already halfway there. So then it's not
Yeah,
as dramatic of a change as it is from non-superwash to faux wool. But I do prefer personally to have a little bit of wool just because I have trouble knitting it. And I find that my customers largely respond really well to that. Like I have customers in Florida, I have customers in Texas who will wear like 50% wool. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, we gotta get some yarns that are not alpaca blends in there. So my preference now is for it to be mainly wool based and not to plug, but I do have a yarn coming up that we design. And when I set out to design a summer yarn, I really care about wearability and then the ability to knit it. And I also love silk and I love it when there's a sheen on it. So then those are kind of all the things I'm looking for and design a yarn for. And you know me, I would not design a yarn unless I felt really strongly about it and
mhm,
I couldn't find something like I wouldn't just go and dupe my favorite yarn.
right.
I would want to improve upon the things I already love. So that's kind of where my thought process is going there. Like I've spent so much time looking for great summer yarns and I have a handful that I love and now we're adding one more to the mix.
I'm really excited about this yarn.
Oh my
I got a
gosh.
sneak peek for those of you who are watching. It's so beautiful and it feels really good in the hands.
It's yarn by Aimee, Sher, y'all. Very exciting. I think all the things we've talked about kind of culminates for me at least because obviously I design a yard. So I feel like is it's called Comfort Silk Linen, which I feel like the name kind of tells you exactly what I was going for. It's 50% merino wool. That's 22.5 microns. So it's next to get skin friendly and then 25% linen, 25% mulberry silk. And the silk and linen take the dye differently. So then it has this like kind of heathered look to it. This one is called Rose Macaron. And yeah, I'm excited about this. I've like woven and knit. The only thing I can't do is I can't crochet. So I haven't done that, but yeah, I'm really excited about this. So for viewers who only follow me on this channel, just after this, we're going to be filming an episode for Lauren's channel as well. It'll be coming out a few weeks after this episode, and it'll be all about what constitutes as copying another designer. So that's a spicier. I feel like that's a little more controversial right now. At this time of this filming, there's a lot of like allegations flying around. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, please do go and give Lauren a subscribe as well. But to wrap up this episode, I thank you, Lauren, for being here and talking to me about this and for trying my new yarn. So that's it for us for today. Please check back in with us for our next episode, and we'll be trying to make this a regular thing for as long as our little pea brains can keep up. Because sometimes we're not so good at consistency.
No.
So thank you for watching, and from me and Lauren, we'll see you next time.